Hey everybody, hope you're all doing very well. My name is Todd Holland. This is the Funnelytics Funnel Wholesale demo on how we build a funnel to generate immense amounts of cold traffic to your product, generate leads, convert those leads and turn them to paying customers who then refer their client base to you in kind of an ongoing fashion. I want to start off by showing some results. I think results are very important. There's two basic kinds of funnels that work really well on Facebook. One is lead generation and one is purchase. Okay, so lead generation essentially is the process of getting name, email, and phone number, as well as some additional information plus permission to reach out to a client for a high ticket item. So generating leads, essentially what you do is you run an ad in front of people who've never heard of you before, who would probably never end up buying from you at any time, but they'll see you and they'll see an item of value that you're presenting out to them, whether it's a list of homes or whether it's a list of your current deals at your company or what have you, and they'll opt in for more information. Once they opt in, the idea is to send them to an email, text message, and a voicemail follow-up sequence in which they're incentivized to continue the conversation, eventually buy the product. That's the high-level overview. The second option is a purchase funnel. And a purchase funnel is done basically with an actual product in mind. Let's say you have a piece of software you're trying to sell, or let's say you are selling something to be drop shipped or mailed out to a client. In those cases, what we'll do is we'll build a funnel that specifically guides people to buy your product, and we have a deep understanding of how much people are spending on, how much rather you're spending on people to buy your product. Now, for this one right here, this is Insight CRM. This is a $40 per purchase, which is a little bit high, but this is a very high ticket item that's running somewhere between $200 and $500 a month. So $40 per purchase is actually a very good deal because you're putting in $40 and you're getting out $200 a month, and something around a couple $1,000s a year. So it's worthwhile. This one right here, 65 leads for about $1.17 a lead. This is highly optimized. This is one of the better campaigns that are out there, and this is $1 million neighborhood in West Los Angeles. So they're both working pretty well. But to get to this point, what we have to do is we have to understand the audience that we're targeting. Facebook's strength is not so much in that it has anything revolutionary about it, other than the fact that you can generate super highly specific, highly targeted audiences that will then qualify for your product almost inherently before they even see your ad. So when they do see your ad, it's just a matter of getting the right offer, the right lead magnet, which is basically the thing that they're going to opt in to get, and the right funnel sequence on the back end. That's actually our specialty. So when you're building out an audience, I think a lot of things are really important. And one thing we could do is look into, for example, homeowners in the state of Texas. I think it might be interesting for us to think about. So we'll just type in Texas here as for the location. And now that we have Texas here, we're going to go down and select a specific age bracket. I think most homeowners are right around between 24 and let's say 63 to be safe. We're going to go after all genders inside of this age group. And we're going to go down here to advanced, and we're going to pick out some interesting parameters about whether they're homeowners and maybe what their home is worth. So this is good for anyone who's looking for seller business if you're a real estate agent, or purchase business if you're a mortgage officer, or any combination thereof, because if your market is a specific price point, we can actually delineate specifically who is buying homes and who owns homes rather in that price point. So we can actually get similar people to opt in that are going to be very likely to purchase. And we can actually go break this down into many different parameters, including age and gender, demographics, the lifestyle they live, their relationship status, how educated they are, what their job title is. And in addition to that, we can find out what pages they like. So by understanding their interests, we can actually cater our ads to them much more easily. So for example, you see a lot of obviously Texan wildlife, Texas A&M. Texas obviously a very proud state. So this is something that I think makes a lot of sense for someone who's looking into this. Now, in terms of the cities, we can fairly easily break down to see where the majority of homeowners in this price point are living. And of course, Plano is a very well-to-do neighborhood, so it doesn't surprise us that Plano is where a lot of people are going to be moving to. In terms of activity, the litmus test usually is to figure out here whether the blue bar, which represents the average person within our audience, homeowners in Texas of a certain price point, how different that blue bar is from the gray bar, which is the average of all Facebook users altogether. Now, because the people in our audience are more likely to click on an ad than the average user, I would prescribe that this is actually a very good strategy to run ads to this ad base. We can also figure out what devices they're accessing things to as well. Household data is very important, understanding their income. I think we see the biggest aberration here in the higher end income for these areas. Obviously for the price point there, it makes sense because that's the higher end of the market. All homeowners, that's what we're targeting. And we can actually see how many people are in the homes. We can see there's a substantial increase in this range right here in terms of family size. Larger families tend to move into these nicer neighborhoods, as we're seeing, whereas single person families and even a unitary couple type of a thing are not moving in as much as the average user. So it's something to think about, as well as understanding what they spend their money on, how they spend their money. I think that, when you look at primarily credit card purchasers compared to primarily cash purchasers, we're looking at something that's, more high end. I think that, cash purchases are usually on the low end type of a thing. We can actually go further into that by looking at what kinds of purchases they make. Now, what's interesting enough is that we have differences in what kind of quality of goods we're seeing here. We can see what types of goods we're seeing. We can actually see what kinds of vehicles people are driving. As we can probably expect in the more affluent neighborhoods, we're seeing luxury SUVs because we broke down the different kinds of family types. We see there's actually larger families, so full-size SUV makes sense. Hybrid alternative vehicle, even though it's Texas, does make sense because the more educated, wealthier people generally want to keep their costs down and have some sort of a caring for the environment. And the rest of these also kind of pan out with what we understand about Texan culture as well. So the reason I went through this is so you understand kind of in no uncertain terms how important it is to break down your audience, not just in terms of saying, okay, let's market to all homeowners or let's market to all people looking to buy a home, because all you're really going to do is increase your costs of ad. You're not going to get the primary and optimized methodology if you're targeting everyone, but if you do break it down in terms of what they're interested in, what they aspire to, what their lifestyle is like, how they buy things, what kinds of things they buy, so on and so forth, you see, I think, some very strong trends that you can actually market to very effectively. And when you do run an ad, you'll effectively, there's many different kinds of ads that you can run. I think that, ultimately, when we look at, the different kinds of ad campaigns and different kinds of models that we're running and things like that, it depends entirely on the product. But you can see here, one of the things that we do when the ad is running is we optimize and we analyze every single aspect of the ad, and we bring the cost as low as we possibly can. That's probably the strongest way to explain this, because when you look at how these ads perform, when you first start them out, they'll run very high. The cost per lead is a little bit high because Facebook's algorithm doesn't have time to optimize down and really narrow it down. This is in kind of more inundated areas. Like, for example, this is in lots of neighborhoods in Texas. And I think that because we all know, how prevalent certain communities like Break Free Academy have been in Texas, that we're seeing a lot of people in those areas running ads. So this makes sense. We can break it down much lower and, just going down into what's working and what's not. This is one of the direct reports of one of our ad campaigns in Palm Springs. And in Palm Springs is, this is for home sellers. This is the home seller campaign. Over a weekend, we generated 20 leads at a cost of about $300.56 per lead, a conversion rate around 35%. For comparison's sake, anything above a 7% conversion rate is generally considered to be very effective. But that being said, when you're at a 34% conversion rate, that's actually very good, especially considering how detailed we narrowed down the audience beforehand. When the prospect clicks on a Facebook ad, what ends up happening, and just to give you an example of what Facebook ads even look like, they're very simple. They're essentially these ads where they have a block of text, an image, the name of the company, and people will click on this and be sent to either a form where they'll fill out their information, a landing page where they can opt in for an email list or anything that's specific to your industry. There's nothing cookie cutter about this. There's nothing templated about this. Everything we build is largely and kind of primarily conducive to what your market responds to most. Once that's built out, they're taken to what's called a landing page. A landing page is essentially a website, but it's very different. As you can see, a website has things that would normally be up here, such as a menu, a home, about, contact, pricing, things like that. And a funnel has nothing like that. In fact, a funnel has one primary call to action, which is this get my exclusive list now. The reason that we run funnels instead of just directing traffic to websites is because we want to be in charge in many ways of what the prospect does on our site, so that we can actually guide them through and take them to the best possible decision for them and for you. Now, a landing page here has a headline, instructions, and a call to action, sometimes some social proof as well, which is basically testimonials and things like that. If you've been in business for a while, I'm sure you've got some testimonials. Interesting thing about how we build landing pages. So once the landing page is here, kind of the first incentive is to get out of here, get out of Dodge, so to speak. So a lot of people like to scroll out, but what we have set up is as soon as they scroll out, we have a form that pops up where they can just enter their name and their email address, and so we can send them the list of the insiders list of hot homes in Orange County. Now that's going to be different for every market. That's going to be different for every industry, but the strategy is the same. We want to capture that lead information so you can actually get in touch with them, hit them with your emails, text messages, and phone calls, and get them to convert. When they click on this button, they're taken to a name, email, and phone number aspect. So we get direct listings for sale in Southern California. When they opt in here, well, this is actually not a, let's say a Gmail. Let me use my real address here. So we'll do Todd Holland Real Estate at gmail.com. Once they opt in here, we'll click on send them the list, and they're taken then to a page where it's very similar to this. So it's instruction to check their email, and it gives them instructions on how to set up contact information with us, and they'll click on something like this. It'll then take them to a page here where they're able to search for homes really easily, and that this is just for the real estate industry. So if you are in automotive, if you're insurance, if you're in any other form, mortgage, anything else, it'll be a different page they land on. More likely than not, it's going to be a scheduler where they can book a time to contact you. It'll be put on your calendar, so you and your sales staff can simply reach out, complete the purchase, complete the sale, and then get them enrolled in your product. Now, again, we're seeing here that we have a fair amount of results that are coming in. We have a fair amount of leads that are coming in. We actually narrow this down fairly easily, and we show exactly where the money is going. I think that the big contention is that trackability has been kind of lost in internet marketing. It's very hard to track results, and sometimes you feel as though you're just throwing money everywhere. You don't really know what's sticking. That's not the intention here. Our firm is, of course, a Facebook ad agency, but beyond that, we're also an economics consultation firm. Economics at its heart is about optimization, streamlining, return on your investment, being able to track all these things and make informed, data-driven decisions, which is what we have here. So we can see clearly how much we're spending in a certain week. We can see what our budget is per day. We can see what the frequency that people are viewing, how many people have seen this ad in their friends list, how many people have seen it all together, how much we're paying for 1,000 views. We can see the breakdown of the different, where the clicks come from, where the leads come from. We can actually see which ads are performing better and worse, and these reports are being sent to you on a weekly basis, and you'll be consulted on this information every single week. So as we move forward, as we look at these numbers here, the interesting part is that each one of these numbers, the answer why any ad is performing or not performing, lies within these numbers. The cost per million is an indicator in large part of how good is your targeting. The cost per click is in large part an indicator of how good is your headline, how good is your ad copy, how good is your picture. Cost per conversion is a measure of how good your conversion rate, rather, and your cost per conversion is a measure of how good your landing page and your funnels are. So we very easily can track these things. As things are performing and not performing in the market, we're able to go and quickly respond to it, so you're not spending money on stuff that doesn't work. It's a living, breathing process, and we treat it as such. Now, when that lead opts in, they land in what's called a CRM. We build this CRM for you. This is our CRM, and we build this specifically for your purposes. And what the CRM does, what it's intended to do, is to segment out the deals in a way where it's very easy to understand who is first priority, second priority, third priority. The further to the right, that's the more likely that you want to reach out to that person as quickly as possible. It'll be a way for you to send out very detailed email and text message marketing campaigns that are very, very high converting. And in these campaigns, you have emails going out, text messages, you have people moving to and from the deal stages. The idea behind all of this is to automate your entire sales process. So the only thing that your sales staff has to do is reach out and make that phone call to the prospect as soon as they opt in. The reporting is a huge a part of what we do, and I think that when we move further into this, it'll make more sense. But it's very important to understand who is responding to what campaign, to understand what's working, what's not working, and really get a sense of how to move forward with a certain campaign. And we give you the data to do that, because at the end of the day, all business owners need data to make decisions. And anyone who promises a solution without data or without data tracking in mind, in my opinion, is only showing half the picture, because we really need to be able to show, hey, is it working? Is it not working? Leads are just one part of the equation. If you think about how certain businesses operate, they send out postcards, mailers, radio ads, and things like that. And when you really look into it, you have to ask, what is the greatest return on one's investment with some of these campaigns? And I think that there's not a really, a different way out there to get, for example, 20 leads come in, right? So 20 leads come in at $3.56 a piece. There's not really a different way or a better way to get thousands of impressions for just a few dollars. So I digress. But the whole point of this is that Facebook advertising is widely recognized to be the most efficient, the most effective, and the highest converting and the most trackable way of marketing. Now, with that given, we're going to take it to a different level. We kind of turn it on its head. Now that we know these things are true, how do we use that information to provide that data to you, provide those leads to you, and lower your cost of marketing, and then automate your entire sales process and fulfillment process? And that's really the name of the game for what we do. So that's basically the idea. So it's these again, this is how you get results of like $1.17 a lead. This is how you get purchases of several $1,000 products for around $40 per purchase, and so on and so forth. You have to first build out your detailed audience. You have to run your ads. You have to send the ad to a very strong landing page funnel that's built with intention. Once they opt into this landing page, you have to be able to track that using detailed reporting, and someone from our staff, an actual trained data reporter, is going to get in touch with you on a weekly basis, explain these things to you and give the recommendations. And then they're going to be sent to a strong autoresponder campaign. And you don't have to go out and find a CRM that works. You don't have to go and test out 100 different things. We have one. We build one for you, and we give it to you 100% for free with the whole package there. So for what's going on here, I think it's definitely worth considering how Facebook funnels can apply to your business and to help your business grow and turn it into something that frankly is a more modern, more futuristic, and much more cost-effective way to generate clients, to market your business, to increase your brand awareness, to reach more potential customers, and at the end they make more money as a business and spend less money doing so. So that's essentially the process. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to myself or one of the representation people, or one of the broker staff, or anyone who's on our team, and we're happy to give any information you need to help you make the right decision and get the right package for your needs. Thank you guys so much. Again, my name is Todd Holland. This is Funnelytics and Funnel Wholesale, and I wish you a wonderful day, and I hope this is a very helpful presentation for you. Take care.